I bump up, I get my shake, and then we go frame. I like to have the left arm here as my body comes out, holding that arm in place. Otherwise, it'll pull the elbow out. And then we have a lock triangle, but it's not necessarily going to always be tight. It might be. It's not always going to necessarily be tight. So we'll either hold our shin, hold his head, or there is a nice little trick that that works here. It's you pump the leg in, and it's kind of an oldie but a goodie. If you've never seen this, what you try to do is you try to hold position with shin and head, and then I use a pumping formation to actually make my leg much tighter. And every time you pump, the leg will come forward and it'll get tighter and tighter and tighter. Like again, it's an oldie but a goodie. As long as I'm holding his head down and his head's not moving up, that little leg pump can really lock up your triangle quite well. So something to keep in mind if you lock a relatively loose triangle. It's there, but probably will need to be adjusted. Okay, from that north-south position, I just want to really bring to your attention that we can also hit a reverse triangle there. It's a sneaky move, but it's right there. So again, we're in north-south. I got that frame locked on here, and it's the same, right? I still was able to bump up. I was still able to get my shin in, and I'm still able to move myself into this position. You want to take this one, buddy? Other way. Yep. And then here's the kind of the sneaky part of this is I want you to see the legs. My left leg is going to come over the head. At the same time, I'm going to begin drifting my right arm down the tricep and starting to point my knee to the ceiling. You can start to see that the triangle is coming, but I'm going to drift myself flat on my back. That's very important when we lock a reverse triangle, that we roll flat on our back. At the same time, this hand is going to start to come out to the opposite side. My right leg's going to open up, and then I'm going to jam in a very, very tight triangle. Now, the goal of this reverse triangle is for me to keep my knee into the armpit, so that's very important. And when we lock this on, I need to straighten my foot and touch the foot on the mat. Now, for the teaching purpose of this drill, I'm going to make sure that I loosen that up. Because from the overhead, you'll see that my left arm, because it stayed in this position, my elbow is inside the bicep. So when we lock this triangle, I'm able to now go and connect my hands, slide my hand in, and not only have a potential reverse triangle, but also just this nasty American lock where he has no room whatsoever to counter. His shoulder girdle is all locked up, and it's going to be a very, very tight triangle. So now I'll do the same side. We're just going to flip Lance on this side so you can see it's still right-sided with my first knee. But now I'll focus on the upper body. So again, I move in. I'm able to get to this position. And now you really focus in on, this is already set up. It doesn't look that way yet, but it is. This leg comes over the head. I then point my knee to the ceiling and then lock in. Because this is high, his arm is in this little valley. And that's what we're going to catch. We're going to catch the arm. I'm going to rotate my hand out. And now we have a very, very strong American lock. And the path of finishing this is, again, pulling the elbow in, driving my right elbow into my ribs, and then he just literally has almost no flexibility here. So because of the shoulders are completely isolated, we get a good crack at this. Now, you can finish this reverse triangle. So if we rotate a little bit this way, thank you, Lance, what I need to do to finish this reverse triangle is dominate this arm, pull it in. I need to make sure I have a very tight figure four and that my foot is on the mat so that my right shin is exactly perpendicular with the mat. It cannot be laid down like this. That's one of the major problems I see when people try to finish this, is that shin lays down. This knee must be tight in the armpit. And then and then you back heel. You flex your left foot up, we back heel, and it's very, very tight reverse triangle. So completely finishable triangle for sure. Been finished. It's been successful at the higher level tournaments. But this must be straight up and down, knee pressing into the armpit, pressing in, flex foot up, pull this arm in, and then finish. I like to make sure that you have a hold of this top arm when you're finishing, because I don't want him to post on my waist or put the reverse knee on stomach on my waist. So I like to make sure that I have some sort of control on this arm when we finish. So one more time, we'll race through that. We have our frame. It all starts with this frame here and the hands on the lat. It's creating some space, getting our shin in, rotating around, and then now we're just gonna zap this guy on. We zap it on. We have this arm in a valley, so a very simple American lock. We also have a finishable reverse triangle. And then obviously if Lance moves his arm in any situation, as long as this arm is through, now we also have all the Kimuras that we took a look at earlier in this escape series. You have a very, very tight set of attacks from there. You have Kimura where you bring your leg back over the hip, and then we get going on that entire sequence that we looked at earlier in the series. Okay, well, let's so cross-side, obviously, we got our elbows in, north-south escape when we had our arms in, and we brought our shins in. Super, super great. But sometimes if you miss all of that and you lose your frames on the biceps, but your arms are still on the inside, then we obviously have still some very good escapes. And we're going to look at one that typically you often see maybe people roll over to take the back, but we're going to look at one where you will at least get a half guard or half butterfly guard in. And if things go our way, we could not only have that position, but we could also potentially have an arm drag out of it and get some instantaneous offense. So Lance is going to be pinning north south. So what happens is I lost my arm position. He got under my arms. And it's not ideal for this to happen, but it does happen from time to time. So because we have the belt, we're going to grab the belt, and I'm going to start stiff arming Lance's hips away. The real trick or the goal of this is to use a pendulum style movement to get my body much, much lower than I already am. And that's what's going to make this rollover a little easier. And then we're just going to do a right shoulder roll. So you're going to roll to the opposite side of what he's facing. So Lance is facing my left side. I'm going to roll to this side. It's going to be much easier to roll around the back of his head than to roll where he's facing. So we're going to move our body away with stiff arms, and then I'm going to roll over that shoulder using the belt to pull me through, and my right foot is just going to go in the middle. Now, my right hand that was on the belt is going to catch this arm. And that's what I mean where if we do this really well, we're going to have an arm drag attempt. Okay? Once I lose this hook, sometimes the arm drag happens like this. Most of the time, because he can feel this, I'm going to need to put a half butterfly guard hook and go and grab the belt. And then we can sort of survey the scene. If there's time, I can take my left hook, extend his leg down, and then pull myself up. If Lance drives into me, then we're going to square our hips up and we're going to begin lifting, turning, or lifting and sweeping. Both are really good options in this case because we have that right hook that hooks in, and then the left butterfly hook can follow. But the arm is favorable. It's in a favorable position for an arm drag if all of this goes smoothly. So again, we're going to be here. My arms got in a position where he was over my arms, and I need to do this relatively quickly so he doesn't take advantage of bad arm position here. So we stiff arm the belt. I pendulum away, and then I'm going to go to the opposite side that he's facing. My hook goes in, and we catch the arm. Meanwhile, I'll still have a grip of the belt momentarily, but you're going to let that go. And then the position is either arm drag here, or if you feel him charging into you, put your hook. I'm always a fan of having this left hook because it can keep him away from me, and we could lift. Worst case would be is that I've got completely flattened and we still have two hooks in. So I could elevate and turn him or elevate and sweep him. Two hooks with an arm drag